because my competitive juices started flowing, I said, you know, I can do this job after I was in charge on an interim basis for a couple months. But I had no business being in the job. You know, again, it was my ego that wanted the job and that competitiveness that said I can do this.
DC is your spot, right? I mean, especially where you want to be.
It was a very, very tough year or two of learning on the job.
The film crew arrived a few hours ago. It's Wednesday, and it is pissing with rain. I'm in DC for the week, and we are lucky enough to be able to catch 2 home games. On Saturday, United will play the Colorado Rapids, but first, the midweek match is the New York Red Bulls. As a player, Ben Olsen would lift 11 trophies with DC, including the US Open Cup, 3 MLS titles, and the CONCACAF Champion Cup. As a manager, he would oversee United in arguably the most important era, moving from RFK Stadium to here at Audi Field, but more with him later. Double fisting 2 cans of beer, I run into one of DC United's best goalkeepers, an old foe, now friend, Mike Harmon. DC goalkeeping legend.
Oh, legend. Absolute.
Absolute legend.
In my own mind.
New digs. What do you think?
Saw the stadium in the distance, saw the lights, and I was like, soccer's a right.
Mike Harmon, a lot of history right here for DC United. I'm telling you, some goalkeeper. Cheers, Mike.
Cheers, Tom.
I love Ben, and I mean he literally has the weight of the world on his shoulders right now because I think it's make or break time. You've moved into the shiny new thing, you know. You've suddenly got a guy that's like worth all this money, whether you know it was your first choice or not. Doesn't matter. There's pressures that come with change, and you see it on him. And I think the biggest pressure he had for me, which was, I've known Ben a long time, and you know I've hung out with Ben before and stuff. But the thing that I took from the conversations most, it's not the pressures because of that. It's the pressures because he loves DC, and he feels obligated to the fans and the people to do well. And what hurts him the most is when he doesn't.
Hopefully he stays, right, and they can replicate in this new stadium the atmosphere that RFK had for a lot of years.
The next day I'm psyched to grab a quick pint with Michael Holstein. He is a filmmaker and producer who calls Washington his new home. He is also part of the leadership of DC Scores, the official community partner of DC United.
We're taking kids from kindergarten up to middle school, and people who join do all 3 components: soccer, spoken word poetry, and service learning.
So you're growing individuals.
Whole child education. So we're trying to benefit kids socially, athletically, intellectually, help their community. And they're provided with coaches, obviously, mentoring. And one of the coolest things is that, you get these kids who come for soccer and they get on stage at the poetry slam or something like that and just slay it.
So your relationship with United, trying to funnel players into DC United as well, is that the success story you want? I mean, not just DC United, universities,
absolutely,
like education. Once they've graduated DC Scores, it's not over and done with.
No, not at all. We have placed some kids into United's Academy, and then we are the fiscal sponsor of an organization called the Open Goal Project, which basically provides scholarships essentially for high school age kids so they can participate in pay-to-play leagues when they otherwise wouldn't be available. And United supports that too. So we really have this, it's a great relationship.
So it's a great growing relationship? I mean,
growing tremendously, especially as they move into Audi Field. So for example, now we have a section of seats that every game is DC Scores section.
Been in RFK?
Oh yeah.
Which has great history laden in the wall.
Right. It was amazing. And I think that grabbed a lot of people who weren't soccer fans and sort of converted them. And, with Audi Field, I would imagine for a while it would be like, everyone wants to go see the bright, shiny new thing. Maybe they're not necessarily fans. But if the team performs, if the fans sort of foster this, the fun and the cheers and the chants.
They will be.
Right.
Football, real football, was being played in DC for decades before MLS, with such regional teams names like the Diplomats, Team America, or the Whips. They played at RFK in the North American Soccer League. The Whips managed to sign one of the game's greatest players, Johan Cruyff, shown here next to a monster.
Although, of course, Cruyff is a dangerous man, so you do run away. Finally, a defender goes for him. Cruyff evades that tackle. Another defender comes back to him. He pulls it, fakes it, pulls it round with his right, pulls it back. Another defender coming in here.
The concrete Coliseum played host to many finals and cup matches. And even though the 1994 World Cup final wasn't one of them, the crowd at RFK did witness the tournament's best goal. Saeed Al-Waran of Saudi Arabia produced a Maradona-esque counter-attack that won the match against Belgium. It has had a mind-blowing 12 professional tenants and recently numerous rodents that have called the old girl home.
I was looking at like 60 of my closest friends I met in this parking lot under this tree. For years. All of us. I've made my best friends here. People I never met. Fuck, I am gonna cry first. Bad language.
For the victory lap though. Whoa, whoa, they ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah.
It's just a pavillon, but it's actually brewed in Baltimore for us. It's delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Glorious English. You know what? I might try it.
this here is
So this is our veggie gnocchi. Pesto.
gnocchi.
Are you not allergic to anything, are you? Okay, perfect. So this is our pesto gnocchi. Yeah, I can. You can definitely.
Ryan,
not,
look at
you're
me. I'm
definitely
not allergic to
anything.
Pesto gnocchi.
Make all of our gnocchi in house. All of our pastas in house. On top.
So, walking in, obviously I didn't expect
See,
to
that's
taste
what
gnocchi
we like.
like this. I mean, it's ridiculous.
We want you to come in with low expectations, and we'll wow the shit out of you.
With
is what-
the food is wowing the shit. I mean, my
Yeah.
wife would kill this if I let her get near this place,
I
but I
know.
won't because I might come here myself.
That's the thing is you've got to
Quiet,
limit yourself
hidden.
on who you actually give the authority to come in.
Yes.
'Cause then they know where you're at. You know.
Ryan Gordon is the chef and owner of the Queen Vic. This place has the qualities all restaurants strive for. Football crap everywhere, so I'm in my element. Inventive and delicious food. Plenty of good beer. And above all, genuinely great people. Talk to me about your spot. This is amazing. Why would a man, and I'm sure it's been around a while.
You know, we opened the Queen Vic. My wife, being from the UK, born in Liverpool, raised in Wales, she said to me, she says, Ryan, I'm getting homesick. I need you to either build me a pub that makes me feel like I'm at home, or I'm leaving. And I said, well, it's been nice knowing you. And she said that was the wrong answer. So the Queen Vic
Here we
evolved.
are.
She was also a EastEnders fan.
Yep.
So if you know anything about EastEnders,
my parents are massive EastEnders.
the local pub in the EastEnders is the Queen Victoria. So the Queen Vic is why we call it.
what's your thing in here? You got to pick one thing. I've heard this.
I hate to pick.
The producer actually said this
Yeah.
before he asked one of your staff. He's like, your place is burning down. Grab something.
I tell you,
pick what you have to.
I mean,
You're on the hot seat.
I
here.
hate to pick one thing because it's what's cool about the Vic is being such a locals pub, and all of our regulars have made this place what it is everyone's brought something in. The girl from Liverpool that she had been coming here since day one and was a super Liverpool supporter, and she just came to everyone. And she was a hellraiser, and I loved her. She rode Harleys. She's
from Liverpool.
She's
There's
from
a
Liverpool.
shock. There's a shock.
A good scouser.
Yeah, a good scouser.
She rode Harleys. She was a cop in Fairfax, Virginia, and she started feeling odd. And weirdly enough, she had like stage 4 cancer and died really within like 3 weeks. I went to the funeral. Her mother was there from Liverpool, and her family was there from Liverpool, and they handed me the Justice jersey that she wore, and so I still have that to this day. I don't even hang it up. I keep it at my house.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it just has such meaning, and it's random times that people come and take photos of a good soccer bar or football bar, and she was in them. So I have a couple things on the wall over there that she's a picture of her.
So
in
she's
there.
forever part of the.
She'll always be part of this pub.
RFK's had some really fruitful years for us in terms of winning trophies and
Yes, you have.
MLS Cups and multiple other ones. So it was really fruitful, but it was never really our stadium.
Sam Legg, the club's communication manager, took us around Audi Field, DC United's brand new 20,000 seat stadium.
You see it from the outside and it looks great. You say we've got this new stadium. I think when you notice kind of the lights flash on for the fans is when they take the step in and they can kind of see the game from the sides. And
Yeah, I love how steep it is, so fans are kind of right on top of the field, and even with the weather last night, the atmosphere just because of that was great. Sign?
as far as I know, yeah. All I'm judging that by is the sign. I don't know if it works. I don't know much else other than that, but yeah.
That's a nice touch. Trophies, they were won at RFK, and then you're moving to this shiny new thing that is great, and hopefully it's a fresh start for the club. But how has that felt for traditional fans, for traditional staff? Or
No, I think the transition has been an interesting one. We have fans that they've kind of set the standard for fan culture in the U.S. La Barra Brava, District Ultras, and the Screaming Eagles have all kind of come in and they look at this as kind of a blank canvas. So they had their great moments at RFK Stadium, and now they're going to move into Audi Field, and it'll take some time, but they'll start to make it their own home.
am I walking to a brewery or a junkyard? I'm not quite sure at this point in time. Got a trash can. It's good sign. Bardo Brewing is something I wasn't expecting.
When we started years ago, we were fortunate enough to have a bunch of people give us recipes. So almost all the beers are recipes somebody else has given us.
So you didn't bring in a specific brewer that had his own set with him, or you didn't steal one?
No, it's just us kind of been feeling our way through it the whole time.
Cool. An open-air bar nestled right next to the baseball stadium and a stone's throw from Audi Field.
Pints of great beer by the river. The brewery's mascot stopped by to say hello. Not a bad way to end the day.
I know nothing about it. I turned my thinking on to make sure it's aligned with yours. I'm obviously doubtful, how could anyone turn my opinion round? Trying to...
The Washington Spirit is DC's NWSL team. They play their games at Maryland Soccerplex. It's about 30 miles away from Audi Field.
you know, like this show says, is like traveling is such an enriching experience. You get to see different cultures, you get to meet new people. It gives you perspective of, especially as a female athlete, how lucky you are to be an American as a female athlete, because there's no place else in the world that compares to being an athlete in America.
For sure. Is that changing or no? That's, I mean, one can only hope, but is it?
It's changing, but it's changing at a snail's pace.
This is Joanna Lohman. She has been playing midfield professionally for nearly 2 decades. A US Women's National Team veteran, she also travels with the State Department promoting gender equality through the shared experience of sport.
It may be uncomfortable for me because I get asked really awkward questions. You know, I sometimes have to negotiate my gender with people. They're like, "You're a boy," and I'm like, "No, I promise you, I'm a girl."
Serious?
What do I need to do to convince you? You know, multiple times at games they would call me Schweinsteiger. Like fans would call me Schweinsteiger.
That's a compliment, by the way. He was a damn good player. If I could ping a ball like that, you'd call me Schweinsteiger. I'd love it. That's class.
I was like, I'm happy about this. Yeah. It's because honestly, Duncan, I'm not the best player on my team. I'm far from the best player. But I think I've played so long because I'm so embraced as a gay athlete in women's soccer that what a privilege it is to go to work every single day and get to be 100% of who you are. And I'm adored for it. You know what I mean?
I get that, Joanna, but you wouldn't be on the team just because of that. But you're a damn good player to be there. You played for the US Women's National Team. That's amazing.
7 caps.
It doesn't matter how many. If you played for 7 seconds, I don't care. You were there.
That's probably what it was, actually. That's probably what it was, 7 seconds.
It's big time. So when you say that, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool to be there, but it's because you're a good player.
And I'm happy. And like the cool thing about being happy is you're happy when you are loved and accepted for exactly who you are.
In April of 2019, she finally hung up her boots, ending one hell of a career. A direct result of the 1994 World Cup, Major League Soccer started play in 1996. And as one of the league's founding teams, DC United started with a bang, winning 3 of the first 4 championships. Supporters' Shields, US Open Cups, and a CONCACAF Champions Cup all followed, as did a laundry list of talented players. Jaime Moreno, Eddie Pope, Jeff Agus, John Harkes, Dwayne De Rosario, Ryan Nelson, and many more.
And it's Echeverry driving the ball into the box.
One player, however, stands out from the rest, loved by the club and fans. When he retired playing, they gave him a little sideline job to keep him around. We meet Ben at Gaslight Tavern, his sanctuary, away from the game.
It's been standing for, I think, 8 years now as a coach here.
Longest standing in the league?
I don't think so. I think
Peter, maybe.
Yeah, Peter's been around a long time, and I've been lucky, right? Nobody gets to coach somewhere 8 years. This is unheard. It's unheard of.
Especially where you want to be. DC is your spot, right? I mean,
well, especially where you played for 10 years. So you play for somewhere for a decade, and then you continue to coach for 8 years. It's I'm a romantic with the club. I mean, it's been, for most of my life. It's been.
So when saying that you're a romantic for the club, everyone knows that. You're Ben Olsen, and a big part of Ben Olsen is DC United. How hard is it? And I know how competitive you are because you've kicked the living crap out of me a few times. How hard is it to not be winning when you're a winner? Because I look at you as nothing else but a winner. You'd do anything to win.
Yeah, it's been a long year and a half, no question. You know, when you're in this gig, you know, it's what you live for is the wins, and unfortunately, the losses keep you down a little bit. You know, better than the wins make you feel, right? The wins last a day. The losses last until you get a win.
I suppose more so now for this club with Audi Field, with a new training facility coming, with, I suppose, pressures change day to day. And
it's amazing how quickly expectations can change. Yeah, you build a new shiny building.
It is shiny. We toured it, and that is your locker room's class, by the way.
It's nice.
It's you know what? If you walk in there as a player, how do you not want to raise your game just a notch?
It's a great building. It's a great building. It's still new. It still feels like a little new for me. You know, we haven't created the memories in a building yet, but that's what it's about, you know, and going there every week. But it's going to propel us, I think, to be a better organization.
So, national team, 36 caps, probably more.
I don't know.
I don't even know if they count
It wasn't that
these
many.
days, but you've
It wasn't
played a
that
lot of
many.
games. You've scored goals.
A lot of B team, C team.
Playing New Zealand. That's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
big game.
New Zealand's in town.
That's a big
Call
game.
Ben up.
Fueled by great performances in the national team, you got a little stint at Forest in England. How was that? The comparisons, did that help you grow as a player?
You know, I was a good player for that league. Like, I fit that league in so many ways. It was a blue-collar league. I'd run for days. Unfortunately, that's where, you know, kind of the injury started. I broke my ankle. I came back. I had 5 surgeries. I was out for a year. I wouldn't change that 3 months for anything. I would not have taken that back. It was such a great little glimpse of European soccer. The fans got behind me in that short amount of time. It was
Why fans get behind you everywhere, Ben? You got to, at some point in time, you got to pat yourself on the back. You're good. You were good,
People like spazzes. They like guys, players that just run and fight and scratch.
Yes, they do.
But it wasn't, you know, again, it wasn't, I like to play, I like to compete, and it came very, very natural to me.
Why do you love DC? What you could probably move anywhere if you wanted to.
People like this city. You know, we have players. You know, when people come from abroad to America, you know, New York and LA, right, are the first 2 that pop in. But this is a very livable city, and that's something I've always prided ourselves on at DC is being a family and making sure, in particular, people from outside the United States feel comfortable, and we do the best job we can to make them feel at home and fall in love with the city. But again, I don't know how you can't fall in love with Washington, D.C. and the surroundings. Because essentially you can say, this is where and how I want to live, and there's an area within 45 minutes that will suit you perfectly.
And I want to cheers to you,
Cheers,
mate.
man.
Your career.
Thank you
for giving us time.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the drink as well. I'm not paying for this, right?
No, I got you this time.
Although the last few years have not been easy with ups and downs for the coach Ben Olsen, the love for his city and club still runs strong. Now with Audi Field's new home at Buzzards Point, it's a little more complicated. With 0 space for pre-game rituals, let alone a parking lot, DC's faithful needed an ally. Flying in was the Earth Conservation Corps. The ECC started in 1992 when 9 unemployed young men and women came together to start cleaning up the insanely polluted Anacostia River. Now thousands of young people volunteer, reclaiming a troubled river and their lives.
Back in 1992, when the Earth Conservation Corps started, it started with the idea of engaging youth from Southeast DC and cleaning up the dirtiest river in the entire country, which at the time was the Anacostia River, which surprisingly was in the nation's capital.
But see, us being 19 and 20ish back in that time, we were pretty much grown-ups.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta understand, DC in that time, it's like Beirut. We knew how to go out and hunt, kill, and destroy. But we didn't know how to save.
In the first year alone, him, Rodney, our master falconer, and 7 other Corps members, they picked up 5,000 tires out of the Anacostia River in 1 year.
That's tires, not including trucks, all kind of just stuff.
Today you see probably like 200, 300 people here.
Probably
right?
more, yeah.
And with that, every single person that walks in the door now knows the Earth Conservation Corps. They've now heard the name and they've seen one of our facilities.
Sorry, I called you an Aussie.
Oh, yeah.
Apologize.
Wait, hold on. DC United fans all used to fucking make sheep noises at me every time I played. They'd be like, meh. Like, imagine trying to play with a heart on. It's hard as hell, dude.
Saturday, and it's match day. crowd is buzzing, the beer is flowing, and DC United take on the Colorado Rapids. After the midweek loss, 3 points are getting more and more needed for Benny and his team.
What's that? What's that? Barra Brava.
I think it's everybody.
It's everybody. So everybody's everybody, but that everybody's louder.
Yeah, pretty much. They got the drums right there.
You guys got to get it going.
I know.
It's a lot more sturdy than ours.
I did see several of the guys leading chants. They still had it fall.
I can see the game and I feel safe. So I'm in a better stadium already.
I mean, it had its charm though. It's different.
It did. It had it. It had championships. It's got history.
Half-time, I look for a bite and find lots to choose from. The pupusa or something like that stand, however, seems to be calling my name.
How you doing? Look at pork and cheese pupas and the carne asada.
One carne asada.
Don't know what this is. Don't know how to eat it. During a match? Yep.
It's gonna be alright, yeah, yeah. How can you tell? Yeah, yeah. I feel it in my heart, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be okay, yeah, yeah. The sun is shining bright unto another day, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be okay. Hey, hey, hey. If at first you don't succeed.
Although the last few years have not been easy, with ups and downs for the coach Ben Olsen, the love for his city and club still runs strong. The old house was crumbling, but it had those memories. The new house is fresh, shiny, and new, but it still feels empty. But stories will come. Old and new traditions grow roots. A community that shares meals and drinks and tears and laughs. An opportunity to make the new house a home.
Let it go, carry on. Let it go, carry on.